Well, hi, ladies and gentlemen. Here at Pepperstone, we've seen a steady increase in clients using automation in their trade execution through the use of expert advisors, or what we call EAs. I think over the next couple of years, we'll probably see those volumes really increase. And it wouldn't surprise if over 50% of our daily transactions were transacted through a systematic, automated, or an expert advisor going forward. Now, we know MetaTraders and cTrader have really strong flexibility to enrich the trading experience through utilities, through scripts, through indicators, and through expert advisors. And with the effectiveness and advantages that automation can give to retail traders, I thought it'd been a good, interesting exercise to bring Quasar along today, who runs our LATAM trading research effort, as well as Richa, who works on the premium client desk, both who work deep in the automated system situation. So let's explore the different systems that Pepperstone provide to clients and the advantages that it can go forward as well. So I'm going to start off with Richa. Richa, here at Pepperstone, we offer MT4, MT5, and also cTrader as well. In your view, and you talk to clients about this all day long, specifically honing into the automated world and the advantages these platforms give, what are the different, different styles and the differences between the automation that these platforms offer?
Thanks, Chris. You're absolutely right. I do get to speak to a lot of clients, and more investors are migrating over to automated trading just for the convenience and also from a psychology perspective.
Yep.
What's great is that Pepperstone offers automated solutions on all our platforms, cTrader, MetaTrader 4, and MetaTrader 5. The cTrader one runs on C# and it's got C bots, which are easy to program and also available for purchase. And the same with MetaTrader 4 and 5. There are huge communities online now where you can get support if you're writing your own code, you're starting out, or if you're an advanced trader as well, to automate your strategies. So the beauty of it is that we provide help for all levels, and there's something out there available for people in all parts of their trading journey to automate their strategies, no matter which platform they're with, if they're using Pepperstone.
Great stuff. And Quasar, now you've been very much involved in the automated scene, systematic world for a while now, and you've programmed on all three platforms. I think your preference, though, is MT4. But looking at the different platforms there, what appeals to the different trader types? What platform specifically it reaches out to the different styles and strategies and characteristics of the traders and experience levels as well?
They are all definitely great platforms for the EA or the algorithmic side of things or trading. I personally believe that the MT4 is going to be the one that is more user friendly, just because there's a lot of information available. That's where I started, and I definitely got to use the help of a lot of resources, a lot of information available to expand on my journey on how to program. So definitely the MT4 is going to be the one that probably is going to be of much help for those that are beginning with their journey in the algorithmic trading realm.
Yeah, and I think if you go into the websites, Forex Factory and other MLQ4 and MLQ5 websites, there's huge communities, people sharing ideas about what's working, scripts, indicators, EAs, and I think that's a really good place to get started. But let us focus specifically on MetaTrader 4. Obviously, there's loads of different features within the MT4 platform. And things that go with it as well, smart trader tools and the list of add-ons, as I say, is quite endless at the moment. But if you're specifically honing in to the areas of automation and running a systematic strategy through MT4, what are the key areas that traders should focus on?
Yeah, definitely they have great tools on the MT4, the strategy tester, the simulator, MetaTrader, which is where you will program the language, the terminal. They're all great tools, but definitely the trading simulator, which we offer through our smart trading tools, is going to be the one of most help, just primarily because that's, in all honesty, the cornerstone for developing an automatic trading strategy, because it's going to let you see the dynamic, visualize if your market dynamic is going to be working well. So definitely the trading simulator is going to be the tool that you probably want to get your hands on first.
Yeah, no, I've got my hands on that, and as a discretionary trader and someone who's looking to automate as well, I think offers really good insight for both. I'll hand this back to Richie. Quasar just talked about the strategy tester, about the simulator, the MQ language editor, and also the terminal. If you could just show us your screen, Richard, and just show us how clients can actually go and find and identify these four different factors within the platform.
Yeah, absolutely. So the beauty of it is that it's all within the platform. You don't have to go anywhere else. The trading simulator, which is the absolute key here, is part of the Smart Trader tool package, which you can find under Expert Advisors. It's just the last one there, and that can be used in conjunction with the strategy tester I've opened up here. The ways to get this up on your platform is you can go to view and simply click on the ones that you want to see, or you can use these shortcuts as well to get them up and running. On the strategy tester itself here, you can see it, you can select which EA you want to use. You can select Trading Simulator here and test out your manual strategy, or you can select an EA that's already running and test and back test that as well. The terminal itself here, you can see any open trades, and you can access the marketplace here as well, which will take you directly onto the MQL5 website.
Yeah, great stuff. We'll touch base on the language editor, and that's something that Quasar's touched on. We'll go for in a moment. But I want to go back to the market tab, the marketplace, because a lot of the growth that we saw in MT4 over the years has really been people looking to buy off-the-shelf expert advisors, indicators, and scripts and utilities and other factors as well. If you could just go to that marketplace there. Obviously you've probably had a lot of clients who've bought EAs off the shelf, and they obviously come with risks, of which we'll talk to Quasar in a second about. But having your experience and talking to clients around people who about this, what sort of advice would you give to people who are buying EAs off the shelf?
So with anything, when you buy anything, you want to do your research before you purchase something. I'll just show you again. So it's just within the terminal, and you go to the market tab down the bottom, and you can actually go through the experts and indicators available there for purchase or rent. So if I just click on one, for example, let's just select this one here, R Factor EA for $520. I've got the option to buy it, rent it, or download a demo to just try it out. But most importantly, what I can actually see here is screenshots of the past historical results that this EA has seen. And you can see a few different things, such as the R factor and the profit factor as well as the different drawdowns that they might experience. If you're looking for something more aggressive or maybe something more conservative, this screenshot section should have enough information there to give you comfort when you do purchase something. And if there's not enough information there, then you have to ask yourself the question whether or not it is something that you're comfortable doing. And lastly, reviews. I mean, the reviews speak for themselves. If something does have a lot of positive reviews, then that's obviously a good sign. If it's got one review with 1 star, again, you'd ask yourself whether or not it's worth purchasing. And then the easy part is that you can download it or rent it directly through the platform. And one I downloaded earlier just appeared under market. So I can just open that, and I can see that EA is already there, whether I want to go live with it straight away or use it with the trading simulator that we showed before. It's all available to do.
Quite obviously, we need to substantiate these claims that they're making. We can't take everything at face value. Obviously, they give us a lot of details which we can follow and try and actually backtest this as well to give an understanding and a bit of confidence whether the claims they're making are anywhere near true. But the backtest is key. So can you walk us through a backtest on one of these EAs that you've been seeing?
Of course, definitely. Just as Richa mentioned, like not just because you're downloading an expert advisor, you don't have to do your homework. There's you still have to do your research, know if these EAs are actually going to be working. So yeah, the best way you can do that is by putting them to test with your utilizing the backtester. So yeah, I selected this one. I actually already have it download, the advanced scalper, which is a scalping strategy that utilizes a breakout strategy, and also it suggests to be done on a 1 hour for the most liquid instruments. In this case, the euro, the yen, and the Aussie are the ones that they suggest. So let's just go take a look at how this strategy or this EA would have performed over the last year. So yeah, you just have to activate the backtester tab, which can be done by just doing Control-R, or you can go, as Richa mentioned it as well, on the tabs on the top. I have already selected the EA from the drop-down menu, the euro, and of course you want to do every tick just to make sure that it's the most accurate possible. One other thing that I want to mention real quick is that before trying any strategy, you have to make sure that you download the data corresponding to that specific time frame. I have already done it just for the sake of keeping it simple, but it's
how do you go and download the data?
Definitely. You just have to click F2, or you can just go to let's just go right here real quick, Tools, History Center, and that's going to pop up this menu. And what you have to do is 1 second, FX majors. It's going to be, you double click on the instrument that you want to download the data, just select the time frame and click download. And that basically is just going to make sure that you have the most accurate data possible for that time frame for you to utilize that EA. Definitely that's something that has to be done just to make sure that you have the most accurate results for that EA. I haven't done it already. It can take a couple of minutes, but it's a must that you have to do. So yeah, let's just check it out for the last year, 2020. Basically, and let's just run it and see how it would perform. It's probably, I mean, this is not a big data set, so it shouldn't take more than a couple of top a minute. One of the things that you can be doing while the tester is running is just to see how the positions are taking place. You can go to the results tab or the graph, which is personally the one that I prefer the most, just to make sure how smooth or how rough the balance and the equity is performing over this period of time. In this case, we can see that on the first part of the year, it actually went pretty smooth for then transition to a more rough path, but definitely an instrument or an EA that has yield some positive returns. In this case, over the last year, for this specific instrument for the euro against the dollar, it got to provide above a 50% return. And what is best, that it didn't come up with a maximal drawdown above 20%. So here you go. This is the way you can take a look into how the performance of an EA would have been. Definitely something you have to do before purchasing any of these.
Yeah, cool. And of course, the bigger the data set, the longer the data set, the more, the greater the efficacy of the back test as well. You've chosen a fairly short period of time, but running the data for as long as you can, I think, is obviously really quite worthwhile doing as well. We're going to go to the trading simulator because, whether you're a discretionary trader and you're just trying to see if your system works, or whether you're actually trying to automate this and set it into motion. Richa, I'll go to you. I mean, for your clients who you've pushed in towards the trading simulator, whether they're discretionary and they're using their own judgment, or whether they're looking to start an automated and systematic process, what is the sort of top down, before we go to Quasar and shows how it's worked, what are the big things that people need to know about the trading simulator?
Yeah, absolutely. So the trading simulator is key because anyone who's running an EA would have back tested their strategy multiple times and tweaked it time and time again to find that sweet spot. And for those of us who aren't EA traders, we can also leverage that same tool to make sure we stress test our strategy across various market conditions as well. The things you want to make sure you're looking at are things, such as the time that you're trading, because the trading simulator, when you use it with a strategy tester, it does give you some really in-depth analysis at the end of it as well. And that's where you can find your strengths and weaknesses of your strategy. And you can use this sort of tool, to save yourself investing weeks into a strategy that just may have needed a few tweaks by looking at the analysis. So yeah, it's really great. You can test out so many different strategies in a short amount of time across various different symbols and timeframes. And I think
Yeah, so you're basically getting past data and replicating a live environment so you can visualize that program. Yeah, so Quasar, we're going to go and have a look at the trading simulator and put it into practice. Now, yeah, we can look at momentum strategies, mean reversion strategies, swing strategies, whatever it is. But I'm looking specifically at this idea of a mean reversion strategy. I'm thinking daily charts, euro dollar, and I want to sell euro dollar should price get into the top Bollinger Band and the 9-day RSI trades above 75. So you've got a confluence of factors involved. And I want to take profit should it come back down to the 20-day moving average. Conversely, if price goes down to the lower Bollinger Band and the RSI drops below 25, I want to take long positions for a move back up there. So I'm taking a mean reversion strategy. With that in mind, can you show how that would work in practice in a trade simulator?
Definitely. Let's go take a look at it. And just as Richard mentioned, this is a great tool that is going to allow you to have a visual representation in case there is need to be some modifications to the market dynamic that you're going to be trading. So yeah, definitely. Let's go take a look at how this would have worked. I have already selected the trading simulator from our expert advisors menu, the euro, as Chris wanted to take a look at, and I have on a daily chart. let's just go into it. Make sure that you have a visual mode, because this is what it's going to allow you to come up with a new chart, and from there to be putting in practice those market dynamics that you want to check out. Another tip that I'm going to suggest you guys is to have already a template with the parameters that you're going to be trying. And in this case, I already have one. I have included one other indicator that Chris didn't include, just for the sake of having a fixed stop loss into or putting a fixed stop loss into our equation. This is something that can be modified later on if we think that it's not providing any value. So once that you have it all set up, let's just make sure that we don't have a very fast speed to begin with. And seems like data is coming through. So yeah, let's go through it. I'm going to go by myself on this. You guys don't have to wait for this because it's going to take a couple of minutes, but definitely let's just come back whenever we have some results. All right, guys, as we have seen, this has been a profitable strategy, market dynamic. So after we have already got the results, I mean, we can either go to the results tab or just observe how the graph would have performed, or how it would have been represented in terms of a line chart. So you can then, after that, go to the analyze section, and from there you're going to be getting more detailed data in terms of what this strategy would have yielded in terms of return, a monthly return, weekly return. Of course, you can take a more in-depth into more metrics, which is extremely helpful in order for you to know if it's going to be a strategy that you want to be later on coding. And definitely this one is one that deserves the merit to probably be putting some coding lines behind it. Chris?
Yeah, good stuff. I mean, obviously, that's just one period. We need to check it out over different markets and different instruments, and also different market cycles and different volatility regimes as well. But yeah, I think if you like that, and it's feeling good, it's great to see. So, Richa, if I like the strategy and I want to implement this as an expert advisor, if I want to make it systematic, what's the next step to do?
Yeah, nice one. Well, I definitely like the strategy that Quasar just did. It looks pretty good. So if you've got that sort of programming background, of course, going back to the different languages available through the different platforms, you can look at coding it yourself. And Quasar's going to go through a bit of basics of that next. But otherwise, if you don't have that programming language, like myself, for example, there are a lot of freelancers available in places like Forex Factory, MQL5.com as well, where you can reach out to them, give them your parameters, and really just build a relationship with these people. They can start, can be paying for anywhere from $400 maybe to $1,000, and they can work with you in terms of building out that initial strategy. But then as you go, optimizing it and tweaking it and changing it, and maybe building additional ones with these freelancers as well. They've got some great knowledge there, and it's up to us to really maximize that.
Yeah, great stuff. Quasar, Richard mentioned there that if you want to go and automate yourself and you want to do this through MT4, obviously MT5 is a different situation as well as cTrader, but you've coded up EAs as well. So just briefly show us how that works in the editor.
Yeah, definitely. So in order for you to find it, it's going to be on your tools section, where you can just press F4, and this basically is going to take you to the language, the MetaTrader. If you were to just code a script, which is probably the first one that you're going to be trying, you can just give it whatever name, and here is going to come up with a blank already sheet where you're going to be putting together your code. We're not going to go too much in depth on this one, but here basically what you're going to be doing is just declaring variables that you later are going to be using to put some values, and then from there giving it some conditions in order to come up with your expert advisor. But basically this is the premise on how it all will work in terms of the MetaTrader.
Yeah. So you've been doing some more work around coding and putting those together, and there's obviously a lot of literature that you can find on YouTube and other various factors as well. So today we've looked at the trading simulator, we've looked at the strategy tester, the marketplace, and of course the language editor, and looked at the various factors that you can look at your strategies and see the efficacy of how effective they are, and actually conceptualize the strategy itself. And of course, if you like to take that forward, look to code it or look for a freelancer to code that as well, and look to start running an all more automated or systematic strategy going forward, taking the emotion out and looking at some of the advantages that systematic strategies can have. If you have any more information, if you want more information, do reach out to the team at Pepperstone, and we'd gladly provide you with some of the more color around the advantages of trading automated systems on the MT4, MT5 and cTrader as well. So good luck in your trading, everyone.